What's going on, pimps? It's your boy Bobby Ray, and today we're going to be talking about something that is very, 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 very important to me, and it is in regards to World of Warcraft Classic. And the whole purpose of this video series that I'm creating for you guys is to give you a little perspective on World of Warcraft Classic from someone who is kind of like a self-certified noob. Now, I have played World of Warcraft in the past. Played it once or twice. I never really got above like level 25. I never really was able to get to that in-game good stuff, but I also never got to experience Classic. I jumped in around Burning Crusade, didn't really play it very much then, got over to Wrath, and then I jumped in a little bit in Cataclysm and then a little bit in Mist of Pandaria, but I never really got high. Every single time I would re-roll a character because I didn't like where I was when I left off before. But something that I want to give you guys, because I am coming up on level 60 right now. I know. It's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to hitting that level cap finally, like this goal that I've been reaching to for a while. But along the way, there's been an issue, and that issue is with boosting in World of Warcraft Classic. It is basically the bane of my existence because if it was not a thing, if it wasn't something that spammed every single chat channel, then my whole leveling experience would have been a lot better. Because I genuinely don't mind going around doing the quests. I genuinely don't mind going out, the kind of grindy nature of it. It's something that I enjoy. But when you get to these ends of the quest chains, you'll usually find a dungeon quest, or you'll just these dungeon quests will just start stacking up in your quest log, and by the time you actually want to get into the dungeon you want to do it, it is near impossible to be able to find a group that you can play with. It's almost impossible to do so because there's so many people that are like right now. My big issue right now is with Blackrock Depths. And I've been trying to find a group for Blackrock Depths probably for like the last 3 days. But the second I go into that looking for group channel, my little message saying like, "Hey, I'm a DPS rogue." Well, there's only DPS rogues, but I'm a DPS looking for a group for Blackrock Depths for BRD. It is bombarded with so many mages selling AOE pulls, selling all these other things that it just drowns out my one little message. And it's very hard to find a group. I have been able to find some, like I found a group for Maradon. I found a group for Shadowfang Cape. I found another group for Ragefire Chasm really, really early in my leveling experience. But overall, it's not something that I'm able to do, and I have to invest probably about a good couple hours just finding a group where I know people are going to say, oh, no changes, no changes. Like, we don't want to change World of Warcraft Classic because this is what we wanted. But the question I want to ask to you, and the question that I wish to pose to those of you who are probably on that side of the fence, is the purpose of no changes. Was that to have no changes, or was that to preserve the experience of World of Warcraft Classic from the first time? Because if you believe it was to preserve the experience, what is happening right now is not the experience, and something needs to be done. Um, I've kind of come up with a couple ways that I think that they could make this happen, and it's just a few that I think might work. I probably get a lot of flack in the comments if you think that this is completely stupid or maybe this isn't even a route we should be talking about. Then let me know in the comments because, once again, this is just a perspective from a guy who hasn't really played the game before. But the first suggestion that I have is if they linked the mobs inside the dungeon, kind of like the mobs outside of dungeons, so that once you pull aggro, it won't pull you through the entire dungeon. They can make it really big, but then it would make it so that one mage can't AoE farm the entire T of Maradon. That by itself would probably fix it if they linked or tethered or whatever you want to call it the mobs inside the dungeon to maybe like 100 feet, 200 feet, yards, whatever measuring you want to use inside the game, however many pixels you want to count, but make sure that they can't pull them from one side of the dungeon all the way over to the other. I think that would fix it. The second thing that I think might happen is that something that could probably fix it is if they put a cap on, this is a lot of mages are going to hate this, but if they put a cap on AoE farming. Now, what I mean by that is they put a limit on the number of targets that that Blizzard could do to, like, it could only hit like 50 at a time or something. Now I know you guys probably get mad. Well, it's an AOE attack. It should be able to attack every single thing in the area of effect. But I don't think this would hurt anything. I think this would only hurt people who are going through and doing these boosting runs, because I can't think of another instance, yeah, no pun intended, I can't think of another time or place inside the game where you have to AoE farm 50 plus mobs. Like, I just don't see that happening anywhere else. So if you make this one little change where Blizzard can't hit more than 50 or can't hit more than 40 mobs at the same time, then and you can make it a high cap, because it would just make it less beneficial for these people to actually go in and do these boosting runs. If you just made that one small change, I don't think that it would affect anything else, and it would be able to limit these boosting runs and make the leveling experience a little bit better for everybody. So that's just kind of my perspective on that. Another thing, which is probably the third idea, is you could just nerf mages. But I don't think anybody wants to do that. I don't think anybody wants to change what Classic is. I don't think anybody wants to change what abilities there are, because they are not balanced, and I think that's a good thing that they're not balanced. I just wish that we could get back, hopefully, to maybe like the spirit of Classic, being able to group up with a bunch of people, creating a community. Because what I think these boosting runs are doing is they're just kind of doing what retail does, where you get into these groups, and I have done a couple boosted runs, I have paid a little bit for it along the way, but you don't develop a relationship with any of these people in there. You're just all kind of there, most of them are AFK, and it's basically like you're in a dungeon queue. It's basically the exact same experience, because you don't interact with any of them. You don't have any social interaction with them, so you don't remember them. You don't put them on your friends list. And yeah, it's just no bueno all around. So that's my perspective on the whole thing. If you have a different perspective, or if you disagree, or if you think that maybe this is a good video or something like that, share it to maybe like the WoW Classic page on Facebook. I'm not going to go do the whole self-promoting thing, but if you guys want to promote for me, I would really appreciate it. If you did like this video, I'd appreciate it if you liked it. If you want to subscribe to it, you could probably be my first subscriber, because this is my first video. I'd appreciate that too. And if you have any questions or anything, please let me know down in the comments. This is just my perspective. I'm going to try to come up with more videos for you guys in the future. Yeah, it was great talking to you guys, and you guys have a great day. Bye.